All right, guys. Welcome to my birthday show.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Dude, I'm kind of excited about this. 45 is the new 25. I've decided that's how we're doing it. Well, guys, welcome to episode 143 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, again, birthday show. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk to Jay Blanchard of JayWire Solutions. We're going to talk about some cool stuff that he's been doing, not only in the shop, but also some travels that he's had going on. And then we're going to end the show with Nate Prater. I say end the show, dude. We're going to like second half. We're going to back half the show with Nate Prater of Street Car Bragging Rights. This conversation is going to be awesome. The list of drag and drive racers headed to Street Car Bragging Rights is insane. Eric went through and got some photos, like some of the screenshots from Street Car Bragging Rights. We're going to talk about the racers. We're going to talk about them giving away $200,000 and
$200,000 and he's frozen. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and jump into the intro and let him catch back up with himself. Well, pretty ironic that the birthday guy is having internet issues tonight. So a bunch of messages in here wishing Mike a happy birthday. But yeah, he froze up. He gave me a little bit of a warning before the show that he was having some internet issues. So he's probably restarting the computer, and I imagine he'll be back here shortly. So kind of run through the comments here as we wait for him. All right. Well, again, appreciate everybody being in here tonight. Again, it's going to be a fun night. We've got a bunch of stuff planned for the night. Obviously, I am Eric White, typically the co-host of the show and the news. We'll see. Might have to be the host tonight. Tons of artwork is what I've been really working on lately. Just put out some artwork for Conquer the Concrete down at Thunder Valley Raceway Park. So that was really cool working on that. Bunch of artwork for the circuit has been rolling out, so you'll see that stuff coming soon as well. So super cool stuff there. But again, we can't do this without all of you guys, all of our race car friends. So appreciate everybody jumping in here tonight, making comments, and wishing Mike a happy birthday. Again, appreciate each and every one of you guys. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, and all of our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them as well. Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Bali Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, JayWire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performer-Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, our newest sponsor, Low Dollar Motorsports, which we got to get updated on this photo here, PowerTube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. And you guys know Summit is our title sponsor here. So I'm going to play this video and let Brian Loans tell us a little bit about Summit Racing.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
All right. Cole here. It's Eric's time to shine. I feel like maybe he kind of set me up for this. He's like, watch this. It's my birthday. and we'll have internet connections, and Eric will have to run the whole show tonight. Yeah, Jeff, we're finally going to get some warm weather here this weekend in northern Illinois. Man, I was telling Mike that we had no snow, and then we had a bunch of snow. I had to clean off my truck the other morning, and it was like mid-shin in some areas with all the blowing. So kind of crazy. Today was not bad. It was about 40. So some of it kind of melted. We're going to see up to 60s by this weekend. So hopefully a bunch of that stuff melts. And yeah, then we can start to do some race car stuff finally. Birthday boy can't call in sick. That's right. All right. So with our Summit segment here, this was kind of a cool post that Summit made. It said, what upgrade completely changed how the vehicle felt? So there was a bunch of comments in here. You can see in the screenshot, there was 255 comments when this was taken. So one of them here that we got was Rich Ortowski, said going from the 115 horsepower 4100 Cadillac V8 to an 850 horsepower LSA. So I would say that would probably make a pretty big difference on how that car felt for sure. For me, probably thinking back to when I had my 240SX, it was an inline 6-cylinder when I picked it up. It was horribly untuned, and where I live, the closest place to get it tuned was kind of suburbs of Chicago. So rather than spending that money, obviously, you guys know today, it's got a 5.3 and a T56 in it. So that was quite a bit different for me. So I guess that would kind of be my story for this one. Oh, Chris White, happy birthday, Mike. Mine is Saturday. Perfect. We'll have to remember that for the news on Saturday morning. And Buckeye Skips in here. We talked a little bit, made a post yesterday, I believe, talking about looking for information from promoters on what events still had openings. And Buckeye Skips does still have some openings. So we're going to talk about that on Saturday morning. Yeah, Red Hat, I might have to hit you up if Mike doesn't come back. You guys know I don't talk as much as he does. So this show will be over in like an hour if it's just me. All right. So this is the Cadillac from Rob's post, and he said going from that 115 horse 4100 Cadillac to an 850 horse LSA. So that would that looks like that would be a pretty wicked car. Big old Cadillac. Welcome back,
dude. We'll see. Man, it's been doing that all day. Yeah, I thought this was a cool story, man. I think that would be a ton of fun. And you know me, I'm like, I want something dumb like this.
Yeah.
Like give me that and 800 horsepower. I'm all over it.
But throw some big wheels on it. There's not enough big wheel in drag and drive.
Yeah, just cruise around with some 24s on that thing, and that way you can get a little bit of sidewall, for comfort. You got to have a comfortable ride.
There you go. Well, hopefully you got your phone with you at least in case you struggle too much. I'd have to switch over.
Right, that's what I went ahead and got was my earbuds and all that kind of stuff. So I restarted my computer and all that. So we'll see. If not, you'll be in good hands with Jay and Nate here momentarily.
Oh yeah. Brian asking how my build is going. It's waiting on me, and I don't have a big enough garage to do the things that I need to do, especially having the 240 and the Mustang. So waiting for a little bit warmer weather here, hopefully this weekend or in a few weekends. And the motor is out of the car. The motor needs to be disassembled, shipped off to, or not even shipped off, dropped off to a local engine company. And they're going to, what do they call it? Magnaflux the block, make sure there's no cracks in it, and then clean up the block for me. And then once I get it back, it'll all go back together. So things will be coming along soon.
Things are happening. One thing that I did go inside, nobody's inside my house. So maybe that's part of the struggle today has been everybody watching 9 TVs and everything going. So Exciting. Yeah. Dan Chandler, no excuses, man. He dropped some weight on the front of the Blazer or Jimmy and dropping weight on himself with some race weight stuff.
I know that's one thing that you guys in the race weight group need to haggle me a little more on, because I started out pretty good and then I flatlined real hard, and I ain't been doing as good as I should or could be doing.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, the whole thing is making better choices all the time, and just a little bit of the accountability, because now you got to go make that post in there and tell them, hey, I kind of sucked it up this week.
Yeah. And,
But dude,
nobody,
I had 2 weeks where I gained weight. So
yeah. And nobody called. I didn't weigh in this last week and nobody called me out on it. So
you're the
gotta-
keeper of the weights. we we don't know what you don't do, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's funny. Well, I am down some weight, but we cheated last night. It was weird having dinner. I'm not used to doing that. I've been fasting quite a bit, and having dinner last night, man, I skipped breakfast this morning. You know me, I'm not a breakfast skipper. So, anyways,
Yeah.
all right, well, let's talk about some drag driver Pete updates, because if people watched on Saturday morning, they saw this update, and it's kind of exciting. The Low Dollar Motorsports team has come on board as a sponsor for the rest of 2026. We're really excited about this. I think this is going to be great for fans and followers. You know, this name is known well within the drag and drive community. It just comes down to, one, Brandon wanted to help support what we're doing over here, but then two, I love this because it gives us an opportunity to really learn more stuff about a different style of racing and business and everything like that. So he'll be on episode 147, which will be, I think, what I say, fourth show, April 15th, to tell stories. And again, just like I said on Saturday morning, he has some incredible history within Low Dollar and how it got started. And we went over all that in the phone call. And it's just going to be really neat to see how this is kind of welcomed into the, drag drive repeat world. So I'm kind of excited about this. I really am. And it gives us a reason to post a burnout every day.
I was going to say the daily burnouts are going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. You went through and put like 240 of those together. So we basically have the entire rest of the year ready to go. And then we're going to have Brian, shout out to Brian. He will be dropping a reel every week to do, have a video of burnouts. So we'll, kind of see how that goes. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
Yep, super cool.
Yep. And then circuit updates, man, we're getting really close. I know you probably got a countdown later. It's nuts, man. Things are happening very fast. We've got trophies are ordered and on their way. We have shirt design that is it's like this close. We should get another proof back on it tomorrow. Kind of wild to think that we're literally 50 days away or something like that. I mean, not even that.
Yeah. 50 tonight.
Wow, man, that's crazy. But I do want to invite as many media teams as you want to come out, get with us, send us your info, basically in a Facebook message or to the email, dragdriverpete@gmail.com. We want to know who's coming. We want to be able to help promote your business. We want to also be able to help your fans see that you're going to be at our event, and hopefully in turn bring out a little more spectators, and then also bring some more attention to the event. So that goes for the media teams that are going to be at Tulsa Raceway Park and Thunder Valley. So if you just want to do one of the 3 days, come on out. We can get you set up with entry and all that kind of stuff. And then, last up on the circuit updates, road trippers. I had said earlier that if we had 50 people sign up for the road trip, that we would do a special shirt for the road trippers. Tonight, we are at 40 road trippers. So pretty exciting to be that close, but that means we've got 10 people. We're 10 away from that. But in our shirt design and stuff like that, back and forth with Karen at Great Apparel Printing and Design, she said Sunday night's the cutoff. So we kind of need to get this rolling if we're going to do this. So I have a couple posts that are made up about road tripping and things like that. I know a lot of people have bought the road trip package to be on that first level of wait list. So I'll go through there and see, maybe that's what it is. Who knows? But I really want to do a special shirt for this. Dang it.
Yeah, right.
Because I know this is going to be a big thing as we move throughout the years. And there's some folks that do drag and drive just for the adventure of driving. So, hopefully we can get through that. All right. That's all the updates I have for that.
Well, hopefully once you get those posts out, everybody can share that out in case there's anybody that is been watching, I know we get messages all the time. Are there still spots available? So if you're listening or watching, that is going to be the way to get in there, is do the road tripper. So help us get that done so we can get a special shirt made.
Yeah, bring it on. All right, sir. Tell us about what's going on with stuff over at Driven Racing Oil.
All right, let's go.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high-zine formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
Oh, yeah. And you guys know DDR10 is your discount code for Driven Racing Oil, anything on their website. So if you're getting oil for the season, use that code, save yourself a little bit of money. And that comment you just had up there, this is perfect, because the first thing that I have tonight is Pistons in the Pines, which is in the Northeast. It is in Maine. It is July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And registration is open, and we got a message from the promoter, which I thought was super cool, that they sold 60% of their available spots within the first 24 hours. And this is the first event for them. So that is pretty awesome. Big congratulations to the team, Pistons in the Pine. So super excited to hear that from them.
Yeah, that's huge for them, man. That's awesome. I'm excited about this event. And then also in the Northeast, you got East Coast Drag and Drive up in the corner of Canada. And then you've got, man, there's like Toronto and a bunch of different places, Dragway Rush. There's one more up there that I'm forgetting. And then all the ones in Michigan, which isn't very far.
Absolutely. So again, shout out to Pistons in the Pines. Looking at registration upcoming for April, Weekend Warrior Race and Relax registration will open up on April 2nd, and Drop the Hammer Judgment Day will open registration on April 11th. So again, next month here, we've got some more registrations. My goal with this kind of is to bring this to light for everybody. So we always talk about not enough events or this and that, or can't get into an event. And on the Saturday morning shows, my goal is to, like I said earlier, get with the promoters and find out which events still have openings and feature those, because there's a lot of times these events still have openings, and we're just not, I guess we're not doing enough to talk about it and get those filled. So that's kind of my goal with that, is to kind of help fill some of those seats, hopefully.
That's awesome, man.
All right. And some other news here. This was pretty cool. I think I got these out of order though, but Texas 2K26 is going on right now. Obviously not a drag and drive event, but another event with drag and drive racers. So obviously Cletus there with Ruby and a couple other lady drag and drivers, Letitia Hughes and Luna Tran, both out at Texas or TX2K. So good luck to those guys and gals that are going to be there. Just thought this was kind of cool, and thought we'd kind of show that as we go into this weekend.
Yeah, and I think Brett LaSala and Blaine are there as well in Snot Rocket.
Okay. Nice.
I think
nice.
I saw
didn't
Blaine's
see that
post today.
as I was going through the photos, but these ones definitely I recognize.
Yeah, I like that artwork too.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. And again, our only event coming up here in March is the Road Trip Drag Challenge #1, which is March 27th through 29th. Let's see, where did I lose my spot? We are 16 days away from that event, Warwick Dragway. So,
No way, dude. No, March 27th is 9 days.
Ooh, I must not have got that one updated.
That's next weekend. Ooh,
Nice catch.
That's scary.
Nice catch. Yeah.
Wow. Oh man.
Yeah. So these countdown are off. I didn't get these updated apparently, because now that I'm looking at the rest of them, they are not accurate either.
We can figure it out. We'll just use the dates.
There you go. So coming up in April, our events, we've got Street Car Bragging Rights, which we'll have on later tonight. We'll have Nate on for that. That is April 15th through 18th. That is at Rockingham Dragway. And that is, what do we got? 27 days away? Sounds about right.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
just a little over a month.
Mm-hmm. A little less than a month.
Yeah, a little less than a month. Redwood Rally Chaos Cruise, April 18th and 19th. That's 30 days away. That is at Samoa Drag Strip. They meet at Players Pizza and then cruise over to Samoa Dragway. So that's a pretty good one there. And then April 19th at Tulsa, we've got our first one-day event for us here at Drag Drive Repeat. That is the Mother Road Mayhem. So excited for that one. That's going to be interesting. Just a few days before we kick off the circuit,
bro. It'll be good. It'll be good. We have more people registering for it that are also signed up for the circuit. So I think it's going to turn into like a test session for them. Just work out those final bugs. It's 11 days before the circuit. So yeah, it should be a good time.
Yep. So that one is 31 days away. The next event, April 22nd through 26th, is the Carolina Drag Cruise at Shadyside. That is 34 days away. And the circuit, April 30th through May 3rd at Tulsa Raceway Park, 43 days away.
That literally gives me anxiety, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's close, man. I tell you, but what's funny is I've started on artwork for like the A-frame, the tall standing A-frames to give people directions. I've started on some artwork for I want to do something special at the route stops. I want to do something special at the track, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna have some banners up this year, and it's gonna be kind of cool. I'm really pumped about what we're gonna offer to folks this year.
Yeah. So that is 6 weekends until the circuit.
So does that mean I guess you would probably have you have 6 weekends to work on your stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, think about that. If you are only working on your car Saturday and Sundays, you only have 12 days.
Yes.
The email that's going out Friday to all the circuit racers and stuff is going to be kind of like, hey, are you able to do it?
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's get this figured out, because there's people chomping at the bit, man. Like you said, every day somebody's like, hey, Is there spots available?
Yep, for sure. Well, for the rest of this segment here, we're just going to go through some drag and drive racers that are going to be at Street Car Bragging Rights. Again, last week we showed some of these. They released some new photos. So there's a bunch of new photos, actually. So Letitia Hughes and David Deal here in the Extreme 28s class. Streetcar Index class, we've got Caitlin Ward and Will Fair also in the Extreme 28s class. And then I believe the rest of these are the Streetcar Bragging Rights Shootout. Matt Moore and Wender Gomes racing in those. Scott Thompson and Jeremy Ortiz also in the Shootout. We've got Richard Flint and Matt Lampier, couple imports here in the Shootout. We got Jason Texera and Barry Cook, again, both in the Shootout as well. We've got Walter Doyle and Sam Kalilo.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Couple more in the Shootout. We got Rick Trunkett and Josh Davis. I told you there is tons of drag and drive racers in this. Chuck Stefanski, Casey Banner also in the Shootout. Tim Blythe and Mike Perica in the Shootout. John Moore and Jim Braun in the Shootout. And then we've got the DCT versus all-wheel drive, Trevor Brandon, and then Streetcar Index, Mr. Raj himself in here.
Yeah. And then, hey, those guys they have left Trevor's GTR in Atlanta with the trailer hooked up, and they're going to drive with Raj and Rich Guido all the way back.
Yeah.
So should be pretty impressive.
So that's a handful of racers, including the ones we shown last week, that are going to be in Street Car Bragging Rights.
Yep, and I went through and some of the older photos that were like first posted and grabbed a few more that we'll go over with Nate as well later. The list here is incredible, man. There is a very long list of racers that are going to be there. And again, just like you said, dude, the calendar continues to grow. 50 events for the year. I think, again, we're going to end up in that mid-50s range. You know, we've only at this point only have had one Dragon Drive this year. That's been it. So
and we've got one coming up in 9 days. This is the second one. So big gap in there, but it only goes up from there.
Yeah, the season absolutely breaks open in April, and then again from June through October is nuts. So bring it on, man.
Yep. So obviously you guys can see that entire list at dragdriverepeat.com/event list-2026. And again, DDR10, your discount code for driven racing oil.
Yep, I'm dropping the link in there now. Martin Kilroy saying he's hoping to make the circuit. Oh, no, that's the link. It went too fast. Hoping to make the circuit, being that it's Route 66 100th anniversary. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff going on over there. All right, dude, let's move on. Let's talk about the JayWire solution here. I'll play the video, and then we're going to bring Mr. JayWire himself in here.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. JayWire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jaywiresolutions.com.
Since Jay has raced with most of these people and probably has some insight on some of this stuff, I'd like to go ahead and bring him on. If Jay, you ready? He said, yes, please. Thumbs up. Let's go, buddy. What up, dude?
Hi.
Man, I'm excited about this, dude. You look nice. You got like a polo on and stuff.
Hey.
Look at you. Get like a bunch of employees over there. Now you're like a boss. It's awesome.
No. Nope.
Probably out there getting most of the work done yourself as well too, man.
They're all sick this week, so it's been hectic.
I can imagine. Well, guys, if you don't know, Jay, let's go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do over there at JayWire.
That wasn't one of the questions that you posed to me earlier. No. So my name's Jay Blanchard. I own JayWire Solutions. I think we're coming up on. Actually, this Friday is 5 years of doing this.
Wow, dude! How
congratulations!
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. My background's in engineering, and one day I had this crazy idea. Actually, my wife did. She was my girlfriend at the time. She said, "You should just do this yourself, full time," because I wired cars on the side. And here we are 5 years later. 3 employees. We're moving next week into a new space, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And, Mike kind of highlighted it. It's everything from, and I'm going to kind of go through some of the cars that are in the shop here in a little bit, but it's sand drag cars. We were racing this past weekend. It's drag and drive cars. It's daily driver stuff. I don't want to say daily driver stuff. It's really unique stuff that we come to the table and get stuff wired. So
yeah, street car stuff, man.
Yeah, street car. There you go.
That's for sure. Well, Jay has gone, or Eric has gone through and added some notes here. So let's run through those, and then we'll kind of turn it loose and have conversation with you about what's in the shop and all that fun stuff. So Eric, tell us about what's going on with Richard Flint here.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. He was at Summer Nats, and his post here was a long post, but at the end, basically, he came down for the finals, and he said, now that it's time for the finals, and man, they were turning things around quick with everything hot and not really sure what tune-up to put against Jim Braun. I just remember saying, I will not let him outpower me. I'll let it spin or wheelie before I do that. And then he goes on to say, same reason I ran it out the back every pass. We were here to put on a show. I think we both had the same idea because we both spun, but to my surprise, he went red. I would have much rather a fender to door race, his fender at my door, if you're wondering, but I'll take this as the outcome for sure.
Yeah. Jay, you've been around both of those cars a little bit, like, you know, in events and stuff. Dude, how cool is Richard's car? Like, that thing is awesome.
Well, and I feel like the evolution on his car has been like exponential. I mean, he was an 850 car 2 years ago.
Yeah, probably like 2, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so as I mentioned, his trajectory has been exponential in what he's done, and I think he's got Motec on that car now. He just switched it to Motec here, like over the winter maybe, or late last fall. And that's a feat in and of itself. Just changing ECUs. We talk about it so much in the space that we work in about, you know, what we like and what we like to stay away from, and just a lot of it's like wiring what you know and tuning what you know, and to take a car that's already, I'll say, proven in a lot of different aspects, and to like make that leap. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's cool. And not taking anything away from Jim, because that car is impressive as well. But dude, Richard's car it does it for me. It does it for me.
Sweet. And then the other thing I had in here was Matt Frost had made a post in the Rocky Mountain Race Weekers group. He said, I watched the video about splitting the stick shift class to give others a chance at being competitive. What if you broke it down by tire? One class runs any tire and the other has to run a quick time tire and it has to have tread. That would be a fun way to break it up without a bunch of rules. Or we just put the whole class on that tire and see what happens.
Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty good conversation. And, you know, again, it was just kind of a in passing conversation we had with both Keith Turk and Rich Guido. I mean, like, I think Rich probably has a pretty good understanding of, like, really, you know, I want to give the guys that aren't at the very front a chance, you know?
Yeah.
Rich is like, man, run them all. Doesn't matter. Bring it on. ET stuff. Yeah.
I mean, you could do like an 850 and a 10.0 index. I mean, that's kind of what you're getting into by making the tire the limiting factor. You know, index racing is a way to keep it somewhat cost effective. Ryan and I were talking about that yesterday with some stuff coming down the pipeline, and I remember when we debuted his car back in 21, and TJ from Baker Engineering, he's like, man, like crewing on a 3-second radial car, and it's valve lash every pass, and it's spark plugs every pass. I mean, we went out and like coasted like 890s, and we were on cloud 9, and he's like, this is pretty easy, you know. And then you think about where the program's gotten to now, and then start like, you know, hey, let's go 10.0 index racing or something, like, you know, like let's change something up. And it's like, man, that sounds a heck of a lot easier than an 850 car, you know? And the payouts in a lot of places around us are similar. 10.0 index and 850 index, they both pay $1,500 or something like that. It's like, you know, an 850 car is a pretty significant echelon, you know, higher.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. And then 10.0 car. So.
Yeah. Interesting.
For sure. It was pretty interesting. There was 97 comments on this post when I checked it last night as I was making some notes. So some of the comments here, Adam Dory said, DOT tires for the slow class. Michael Richardson said, I love the idea of a big stick and little stick class, which I thought that was pretty clever for the naming there. Personally, I think a breakout time would be the move, establish it before the race or split it after day one results.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, the problem is like it's a 275's DOT tire. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if the tire is the answer. I really think ET is probably the easiest way to do it. You know, style of clutch is what Keith Turk was talking about, and you need to make it easy on the tech guys and the class assignments. You know, do you take somebody's word that has a slipper clutch that shouldn't be in the slipper clutch class, you know, or should be in the slipper clutch class? Like, you know, how do you tech that easily? Chris Presnell said, I like the idea of stick shift being able to be more competitive. It's tough when it's one of the bigger classes, but has 4 or 5 guys running 8s that just dominate. It would be great to have a split in stick shift somewhere. And again, that's where we're talking about is how do you make it competitive for the fun guy? You can almost do a DYO and then all out overall winner,
Yeah, well,
for sure.
that's interesting too. Like stick shift DYO could be really intriguing because the consistency might not always be there, and so then it's like my car can run an ET, but I'm also like I also can launch well and I can shift well. I mean, that might have the most traction. Like no pun intended, but
I like it. Adam Dory came back in a second time and said adjustable clutch by any means and foot only clutch gets my vote. Still easy to police, which is kind of what we were just talking about with Keith Turk.
Yeah, that's the tech side of it makes it hard. Andrew Doppinus said, I have no dog in the fight here, but personally makes more sense to divide stick shift into power, adder, and naturally aspirated, which I had not thought about either.
Yeah, that's also a pretty good idea. Yeah. And then Alex Scanlon said, too many classes. If you want to win, step up or get in where you fit in.
Yeah, I like that one. And then Dan Willoughby said, as a guy who is racing stick shift but never won, I like it the way it is. Makes the win more prestigious. I think keeping the class big divide drives innovation, and that's another good point. Like if you want to be at the front, get after it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to build a car that's going to have to go, at least mid 8s. Most likely low 8s.
It looks like Jason Richardson here has a DYO stick class. He said, I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Yeah, that sounds like the ticket to me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun one. And again, you could keep the class huge. You could just make it, an easy way, like a overall winner and then a DYO winner. It's easy for math, all that kind of stuff. And you kind of follow that DYO format of the magazine's events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, dude, I want to talk about some of the stuff you got going on in the shop, bro. Because you and I talk, I'm not going to say all the time, but we talk regularly. Where we at on YouTube stuff? We're going to get more YouTube videos. Guys, go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, JayWire Solutions on YouTube, to force them into creating more videos.
We need to, and you and I have talked about it, and there's some stuff I think coming down the pipeline that I'm going to have to enlist some services, but it's funny because something popped up and I was like, Matt, who's one of my guys, and I was like, it was a year ago we posted our first video on YouTube, and he's like, yeah, how's that going? I mean, like, yeah. I get it from my guys too.
Yeah. Well, here's what we'll do. We have a great video editor. Shout out to our boy Brian. Love that guy. Dude, like, just get us some content. We'll put some things together for you. We'll see how it works. Like, perfect. We'll do that within our sponsorship agreement. And if it works, you can either hire him or hire somebody else or whatever. But we'll help you with a few of them to get out.
All right.
Anyways, dude, shop updates. You kind of mentioned this a little bit ago, but moving into a new space, more space for this.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more. I did send you a teaser pic for earlier. I don't know if you got it queued up or not.
I did not.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It's not that big of a deal. So frankly, my lease is up, and a local business owner who I know hit me up a couple months ago and said, I've got some space coming available if you're interested. And right now we have 2,800 square feet. And the space we're moving into is 3,000 square feet, but it also has a 500 square foot mezzanine that I hope to be able to use for storage.
Nice.
So the space, like, physically isn't terribly that much bigger, but again, if I push ourselves to be efficient on the mezzanine space, then we do pick up, a decent amount. Yeah. And it's kind of wild to think that the mezzanine is 500 square feet, and a year and a half ago, I worked out of a garage that was 700 square feet total. Which also housed like my kids' bikes and other things like that. So anyway, so it's a pretty significant increase for us. As
That's
simple
huge,
as it sounds, I'll have an office and my guys will have a dedicated break room, which it sounds simple and subtle, but those are some creature comforts that I think I would like as well as them. But no, super high ceilings, which is really nice. And then the owner is, they're polishing the floors. So the floors are all polished to 800 grit. And then the offices are all being repainted and they're putting new carpet in and stuff like that. So it's going to be like a brand new gig for us. Or
High class over there.
Yeah,
that'll be really nice, especially to have that much storage area. Well, man.
Yeah, because they're like, you can't really see it. Oop, wrong shoulder. But like that rack that's right there, but over my shoulder. I mean, like we have like wire and stuff that we might touch like once a month on it. Yeah. And then we have like some customers' components that there's some stuff around the corner that like got dropped off for a car, and we might not touch it for another 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's just occupying some space on the floor.
Yeah,
so
that'll be nice.
So we're working on that next week amidst working on customers' cars. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 6 customers' cars in here tomorrow morning at 9:00, which is really full for us.
That's crazy. Wow.
And
Dude, be cool, man. Be cool.
And in various phases of projects or kind of where they're all at. I was hoping to have this S10 over my shoulder here back to Columbus this week, but just with some travel last week, didn't get to it. So we're going to hopefully have this S10 back to Columbus next week. I'll just kind of continue on with the shop updates if you're good with that, because we've got...
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to know about this car behind you as well, or shop updates, and then we'll do the car tour.
Yeah, so we did hire a third person back in November. So he's working out fairly well. Younger guy, and he's hungry, and so that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So we're working through like a bunch of like tactical stuff. We're really trying to work on standard practices and boosting efficiencies and things like that, because now we're getting to the point where it's like, we need to be doing that. And Devin and I had a really good talk at Sick Week about that. So that was, reassuring, because we kind of were sharing some efficiency things and whatnot. And so, like I said, we're working on being better there. And then Kyler is my new guy, and he's like, he's got a lot to learn. I kind of struck it with my first 2 guys, and they both knew wiring walking in the door. And Kyler doesn't know that much, and I won't hold it against him, but he's also a Ford fan. And so, he's like, he started taking an LS engine apart the other day, and he's like, I've never touched an LS before. And I was like, oh boy, like
here we go. This is going to be awesome.
So I hope if he's not watching tonight, then I'll show him this part of the segment tomorrow, and we'll all get a laugh about it. So
how fun.
But yeah, so that's kind of, I guess that's really it for, like, I'll say shop updates and what we've got going on.
How about products, man? New stuff coming?
Yeah, so we've got some stuff that's, I'll say, old and been on the back burner for a long time that we really want to start pushing. And I'll get really nerdy for a second, but in this area where we're at in West Michigan, like we have Silver Lake Sand Dunes up north of us, and then we also have a significant amount of like freshwater powerboat customers in this area. And so we're working on one of the local engine builders reached out to us because there's a product called Mephi, and I believe it's Mercury EFI.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it was co-developed, I think, with GM back in the 90s, and they're starting to lose. The controllers are like obsoleted, and all these like boats that were built in the 90s and early 2000s and whatnot. One of the biggest things that goes out on them is the IAC motor or the H-bridge driver in the back. So you go to like put a boat in gear, there's like no clutch, no torque converter. It's just like you're in gear, and then with no IAC, they tend to die. And so we're actually working on, and we've been working on, and like I said, it's been a very back burner project, but we're working on putting together a Mephi to Holley EFI box, if you will, that will allow the customer to take their Mephi computer out, plug into our module, and then plug into a Holley HP computer, and you're up and running with Holley HP.
Oh, dude, that'll be a game changer for a lot of these people.
Like I said, the biggest thing is like there's Mephi 3 and Mephi 4 are like the most common ones. Like we have both of them like ready to go. I'm just looking for what I'll call an alpha tester. We had somebody we thought lined up last fall through Baker Engineering, and I said, hey, we'll do all the install for free, because we need to test it. But the price point, you're buying an ECU and you're buying this module, and you're buying an O2 sensor, and some things. And it's not the cheapest thing in the world to do.
Right.
But it gives you like the tunability of Holly versus Mephi is significant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's not anybody making posts on Facebook about who's my Mephi tuner. I
Yeah.
don't see those
Well,
ever.
it's funny, like you get into like the weeds, and there's some really good ones.
Oh, I bet.
There's a local guy that's got quite a bit of experience with Mephi. TJ at Baker Engineering has some experience with Mephi. And then there's somebody, and any Marine person that's watching will know, there's somebody down like in Tennessee, I think, that's like was one of like the old school Mephi people.
Interesting.
So that's an old one, but one that we just kind of keep dragging along. And then the other one that I'm pretty excited about, John Paul Franks actually hit me up about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And John Paul runs, I'll say a big inch small block, medium.
It's legal.
I know,
legal
I'm not
for a
saying
small
it's
block.
not, but it's
very
right
yeah.
there.
It's 429.787. No,
Yeah.
whatever. It's close.
But so he hit me up about some stuff, and so we're actually working on. And I should be careful like saying all this, maybe, but we're working on developing a wheelie control mechanism for someone that doesn't have, like, I'll say a Holly Dominator, or doesn't have a Terminator X, or doesn't have Helltac, or whatever. Like, so essentially think MSD Grid, and think or MSD 7 or anything like that, and wheelie control. And we've got some local nitrous guys that are small tire guys that have, they've kind of piqued their interest a little bit. And I've got some code already written. We have a preliminary circuit board design set up. So we're kind of like, I'll say in the works with it, but then it's that and juggling like 7 cars that are in the shop. Those are all just things that are that are there. But like I said, John Paul asked me about it. I kind of kicked it around. I said, hey man, like, to develop this, it's gonna cost X amount, and then I started, my gears started turning a little bit. And I'm like, let's just see who else could be interested in this and what kind of market opportunity there is there. And so we're gonna kind of internalize some of that. Yes, Raj. And so we're going to kind of internalize some of that development cost and try and put something together here, like I'll say in prototype, kind of in the next like 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Sweet.
Perfect for the season. Brian Acton here asking probably one of the toughest wiring questions you got. Can I use a self-tapper to ground my ECU?
Right through the middle of it.
And please,
I'm looking to see if I can even find a self tapper in my shop, and I don't think you will.
Raj says that he's interested. He said we need to chat this nitrous guy is interested.
Yeah. So generally, it's like like I said, it's predominantly I think it's going to be something that's going to be either somebody that's like mechanically injected, with a blower, or a nitrous person. Would be interested in this, or somebody that's NA. I don't really think it's going to help too terribly much in the boosted application, because in like the turbo EFI application, because at that point you're going to have something that's going to be integrated.
Yeah, you're going to have that already. Like, unless you're maybe Keith Finstead, who runs a blow through carb small block Ford setup, but he's like this much of the community. Yeah. But nitrous carbureted guys, and big cubic inch small block guys like John Paul. Well, show us what's going on in the shop, man.
All right, we're gonna like attempt this because I'm on my gimbal and I'm gonna try and flip this around, and hopefully it's not too. So you're gonna get real close to my face for a second.
Bring it on, buddy.
Oh boy, how did I do this earlier? Right there.
Yeah, Russian carb guy's gonna love this thing.
Yeah, so there we
I
go.
don't know why it keeps flipping whenever we bring it.
Yeah, I don't either.
The comment up now it really messed it up.
Yeah.
There we go. Hold on.
Just make him full screen.
Make me.
Hey, that's good. There we go.
Oh, so is that what's happening? Is every time that you pull up a comment, it moves? Yeah.
Yeah.
This
And then
should
I think I
correct it
had an
here.
option in here that I could actually make this half scale. But so anyway, so we're just gonna kind of walk down the row here.
Yeah.
So just real quick, I'll pan over here, and then you can see like, here's the shop. So like we all have
Yeah.
matching benches in our shop.
Nice.
So like my guys all have like their own workstations and stuff like that. And yes, this one's powder coated purple because we figured out after they were all the same that we needed some variety, and so that one's purple. So this is a customer from Missouri. So it's a twin turbo, true dual fuel system, like 66 Malibu wagon.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
So the goal is to go 850s with it and haul
Oh, wow.
him and 3 guys. And like I said, it's got a single in-tank pump. Actually has dual, but we're gonna set him up with a toggle to move between the two of them. And then it's got a big aeromotive pump up front for methanol. Full exhaust with boost activated cutouts, and it does have vintage heat and air conditioning in it.
Dude, that's awesome.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
plan
nice.
is just to like drive down the road in luxury and and then be able at the flick of a right foot like switch over to methanol and haze the tires.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yep. So I'm gonna like quickly pan over this truck that's right here because we're gonna come back to that one.
Okay.
So then this is a 68 Firebird, and this is kind of more the, we don't just do drag and drive stuff. We don't just do big horsepower stuff. We do a lot of vehicles like in this realm. Mm-hmm. So 68 Firebird, Terminator X Max, with a 4L 60 trans, Dakota digital gauges, heat and air conditioning in this one. It'll have cruise control, wrong direction. Sorry about that. So just really, wow, we're going way around. Uh-oh. And now I just done screwed it up. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Anybody just got sick from me spinning that thing around? I don't know, but so this is kind of a, this customer bought this car and they were like, oh, let's put exhaust on it. And then it was like, oh my goodness, the body mounts are all rotted out of it. And then it was like, and just one thing led to another. And now it's, like I said, it's LS3 drive-by-wire. Like I said, it'll have, heat and air conditioning, cruise control, Dakota digital gauges, and we're doing all the wiring on it. So I shouldn't say we're doing all the wiring. We're doing all the EFI and all of the stuff I just listed, and then the person that's really doing the restoration did an American Auto Wire harness in it. So
How cool.
yeah,
That's a nice car. Great color.
yeah, something different, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And then this one is a 70 Corvette. Original big block car, convertible with an automatic. So that's like a very rare thing that you won't find too terribly often. And in 70, there was very limited production, only like 17,000 of these cars were built. And of that, like 600 of them were in this configuration.
Cool.
And then this one's kind of getting the gamut also. It's getting, it's going to do that spin around. Nope, it comes back around. So this one, obviously looks like it's all torn apart because it is. This one's getting Terminator X Stealth in it. So really great fit up with the Terminator X Stealth. I mean, it's carburetor looking. Mm-hmm. And then Dakota digital gauges. We're actually doing a stereo in this one for the customer as deep as we've gotten into the dash. We just said, hey, yeah, we'll put, Bluetooth radio in it and a powered subwoofer and stuff like that. But the tank's in really good shape, so we're able to do just a like a Holley 340 liter per hour pump, as a module drop in. Yeah. And then here you can see the EFI intake and all that stuff going on it. So yeah. That's
cool. That'll be a fun street car.
Oh yeah, totally. Magnaflow exhaust. It's going to get coilovers and stuff. I mean, they're going deep on this one, but it's going to be a fun little cars and coffee type runner. Yeah. So, and then here's my truck that I have not touched all that much, but it's in the shop. S10 extended cab. Someday I'll work on it. I have way bigger.
Yeah, we're ready. Now. We're ready for this thing to come out, man.
I know. So am I, but my pocketbook's not.
Well,
and then this one right here is a unique one also. So this is a 73 Datsun Fairlady that I actually wired 7 years ago when I really didn't know what I was doing. And but it's been like stretched and widened and it's got a LS2 out of a GTO in it, and a T56 and GTO IRS. So it's all on a custom chassis.
Wow.
So it's pretty wild. And then we have a 68 Camaro coming in tomorrow that we originally wired like 3 years ago. It was a project together with Baker Engineering. It's LS3 based. I take that back. I misspoke there. I think it might be LS3 based, but it's got a 2650 blower on it and vintage heat and air and cruise control and all the, Dakota digital gauges and all that kind of stuff. And it made like 940 tire maybe at Baker.
Oh, come on.
Back like 2 years ago. And then he's having some issues. It's got a pump that's not like really, I'll say, street rated. And so we're doing a Rix tanks with twin 450 pumps. So we got to do a little bit of plumbing work on it and a little bit of wiring work on it. And then we actually did all the cruise control stuff and never hooked it up before it went to get dynoed. And then it's been like a year and a half. And so he has to get all that taken care of. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then here's the last one that's in the shop. So this truck will see action in IHRA Bratz is where it will see action.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a small tire. I just picked it up today, so there's some stuff kind of, around here on the ground and whatnot. But it's, let me get some lights on. So it's, like I said, it's IHRA Bratz. It's a 540 big block with a F4 136, I think, Pro Charger on it.
Come on.
It's a spaceship as far as sensors and data acquisition. Holly Dominator, Pro 600, EGTs, secondary injector driver box, 686 Pro Dash, laser ride height, laser on the axle for tire squish. We've got track temperature. We've got wheel temperature, tire temperature. It was kind of funny. We dynoed it a couple weeks ago at Baker, and in 0.7 of a second, the tire went from 65 degree temperature to 130 degree temperature.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because it was just shredding the tire on the dyno. But
now,
yeah,
let me ask you, is
everything.
Is this your jam? Like, is this what you want to do, or like does streetcar stuff? Like the long roof wagon there. Is that more? Like, I know you want to do it all, but like when you're sitting there at the end of the day, does stretching your knowledge on this truck, is this what gets you really thinking late at night on stuff?
I really like the data side of things. I really like the data acquisition side of things. And so the fact that this one has so much in it, we did like LED strip lights and all that kind of stuff in it too. Cool. The fact that the data act side to me is, I just muted myself. I'm trying to flip back around.
You're good. Yeah.
So the data side of things is where I kind of really get, that's what excites me about all this. And my background in engineering really kind of is like, is really kind of what, I think makes us a good wiring company. And it also makes me a good, I'll say, track support person. And one of the things that I'm always like really excited about is, I'll use TJ at Baker as the example. Like, he'll send me a startup tune. We load all the sensor data into it. We get everything set up. We go through, make sure everything's good to go and all that type of stuff. And he knows when something lands at his shop, the temperature's actually the temperature, the pressure's actually the pressure. Everything is set up the way it's supposed to be. And that can be like, that's an arduous task. Like, that can take some time to do that. And we have like build sheets that essentially like, here's the wire color, here's what pin it goes to the ECU, and it's the same on every car.
Oh, that's cool.
And we really started that standard about 3 years ago. And so like if a customer calls me on the weekend, I'm like, it's either white with red or white with orange. I'm not 100% sure, but that's going to at least get you in the ballpark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have like Google Drive on my phone, and so I can pull up people's stuff after it's built. And so it's very quick for me to be able to go in and diagnose it. But the fact that all the wire colors are the same car to car, And then, like I said, they landed the same input and all that type of stuff in the ECU. Just makes it, a little bit more cookie cutter.
Dude, that's cool. That's a great idea too.
Yeah.
John Mayer says Jay understands it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and John's like a great, John, I'll say took the leap of faith 2 years ago and said, hey, let's get into the CFI thing. Let's get into this drag and drive thing. And, we have a great relationship, and we probably should talk more frequently, but I feel like about every 4 to 6 weeks, it's, we got something going on, or he's got a question about something, and he's hungry for the knowledge, which makes it that much easier for him to be a customer, is because I'll feed it. There's no question about it. So
yeah, you and I have had some fun conversations. You just explaining how dumb I am about, you know what I mean? It's pretty interesting when you're talking to Jay. You're like, man, wow, I don't know stuff. Like Jay doesn't explain it to where it's, you don't understand it, but I'm like, dude, that's like next level stuff. I'm trying to get my truck into the 11s. Jay's like, oh no, man, you don't need that part. I'm telling you.
Well, my one friend, the customer that's got the Corvette, he's a friend of mine also, and we'll be out at something, watching a football game or something like that, and he'll be like, careful, don't get too close to Jay, because somebody will start asking me questions about something. He's like, he's a vacuum. He will suck money out of your front pocket. He's like, because all of a sudden you're like, I need that, I want that, and you're like, yes, you do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, dude, again, please put out some YouTube videos, man. We need more stuff. We need to see the stuff. We need to see the cool stuff you're working on in the shop, and we'll help in any way we can over here. And I'm excited about some of the stuff that you have working on that side, stuff that you can't release yet, but man, I hope what people get ready, because the stuff that Jay's been building up to in the back is impressive.
Well, and if I can take 2 more minutes of the show, can we talk a little bit about last weekend?
Oh, dude, yes, please.
Last weekend was I mean, I don't know if you want to underhand pitch anything to me, but so I got back from Phoenix at 4 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Yeah. And again, customer mine that's a customer through Baker Engineering, that's a contact there. And we went sand drag racing at Dome Valley, just outside Yuma. And we raced the world record holder in the finals, and we really beat our heads against the wall for a day and a half and found an issue with the crank sensor, and it caused all of our problems for the better part of a day, maybe 30 hours. And so it's a screw blown Hemi. It's like it's top alcohol dragster, but we run it on sand. So it's a Brad Anderson billet, TA1X headed, PSI C rotor screw, and that vehicle goes the length of a football field in 2.48 seconds.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
On sand.
Yeah, it's actually more of a clay out there.
Well,
in the valley. That's
tomatoes, potatoes, but it ain't asphalt.
For those that are look at data logs often, so that car has a slipper clutch in it, and right as the clutch couples, it peaks, hits about 2.7 Gs. And then just before the shift, it peaks about 3.2 Gs and then rides out the back for the last 0.6 of a second. And it's somewhere between 1.9 and 2.3 Gs out the back.
How cool. Dude, that's awesome.
So,
that's awesome. Yeah. The video you showed, is it on your channel? Is it on your page on Facebook? The 360 video? It's
not. The 360, I think, is hard to get. I guess I don't necessarily know if it's hard to get. And then I posted a bunch of.
We'll have Brian do it.
Okay. Well, then I posted a bunch of pictures, and so with Business Suite, if I post pictures, I can't cross format post because Instagram gets mad.
Oh yeah, they don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't even post the video in the finals, but it's like a wall of sand.
It's pretty cool. The video shows the driver, and then it spins around, and it's just literally just this rooster tail of just clay, I guess.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. In relation to traction, is that harder to manipulate on that car, or is it versus like a street, or like a slick?
So I don't have a lot of experience tuning slick cars at the track.
Or yeah, I mean, like the radial stuff that you guys do with.
Yeah, like I mean, so
Blanchard.
that's just like, I mean, to me, like that's like, I'll use the term like hook and book. And then we had an automatic in that car last year, and so we had to do a boatload of power management.
Wow.
Like, I mean, just uncontrolled wheel speed, and just the G meters like in the tank, and it's like you got to pull the engine back, and that's a lot of work.
Interesting.
But the slipper clutch, it's so interesting because like now our starting line ratio is higher than it was before. So in my brain, I'm like, higher starting line ratio, it's going to want to spin the tire harder. But now the clutch also takes half a second to engage. So like, at 0.3 of a second into the run, we're slipping 70%.
Wow.
And then the clutch has got all the weights on it and all that kind of stuff. And that's more of a weird Chiquito thing because I put the dial indicator on it when the customer's in the car, and he's like, "What's it reading?" And I tell him what it's reading, and he says, "Okay." And then I go plunk on the keyboard and like make it go faster.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so JayWireSolutions.com, JayWire Solutions on all social media apps, and soon to be more YouTube videos.
Yeah.
at least a weekly shop walkthrough, I think, would be fun.
All right.
We can do that. Jay, thanks.
I say that very like non-enthusiastically, but I think you're probably right.
Dude, have one of the guys do it. That's their job now. They take 12 minutes and they walk us in the shop.
Yes.
That could be fun. All right, dude. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you in a few weeks when you guys come down to the circuit.
Yeah, got that $850 bounty.
Dude, Baker Engineering has put up the Baker bounty, $1,000. If anybody can beat Jay and Brian. If they can take them out, and dude, you're on the shirt for the third time. This year's design, primo stuff. You're gonna love it. And for folks that don't know, the quickest quarter-mile car and the quickest eighth-mile car end up on the shirts for the next year. So Jay and Brian have been on the shirt for 3 years in a row now, and so we're gonna see if Mark Campbell or TJ Leinbach can come down and do some damage. There's some other people signed up in that class that are quick, but guys have just definitely made your way to that front of that 850 stuff.
We work on our craft often.
Yeah, ought to be pretty interesting. So all right, buddy, thanks a bunch. Cool. Man, we'll see you soon.
Yep,
awesome. Thanks guys, appreciate it.
Later.
Yep, see ya.
Sweet. All right,
yeah, man.
Well, that'll kind of work us right into our thanking our sponsors and all that kind of cool stuff. And then we'll bring in Mr. Nate Prater. All right, actually, hang on. Let me at least play the Molly ad read here, and then we'll thank everybody, and then we'll bring him in.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together, so all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
All right, dude, I love those guys over at Molly. They are so cool. Guys, again, thank you so much for being our race car friends. Thank you for being here. Do us a favor, hit that share button right quick as we jump into this. This conversation with Nate Prater is going to be about Street Car Bragging Rights 2026, but then also some history of the event. It's going to be, tips and tricks. We kind of want to pick his brain a little bit. I mean, this guy puts on one of the best shows in the entirety of the car community. And so basically I want to help other promoters do that. So hit the share button, get more folks in here, get some conversation going and stuff like that over in the chat. And then of course, thank you to our sponsors. We cannot do this without these guys. And I didn't make the new artwork with Low Dollar on it. So I apologize to Brandon and the team over there. I'll get that knocked out this before Saturday morning's news episode. Summit Racing, Deech Works, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, JayWire Solutions, who was just on here, if you guys missed that, AFCO Racing Products, Performer-Built Transmissions, and Car Change 3D, PowerTube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. Y'all, if you're doing shopping, please go by, hit these guys up. We have discount codes with Deechworks and Driven. We also have an affiliate link with Summit. So if you're doing that, you want a discount code with Summit, hit us up. I'll send that over to you while we have them. I mean, we don't have an unlimited amount of those, but it's coming. So Deechworks, again, the official fuel delivery of Drag Driver Pete. Those guys over there are super smart. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, pumps, rails, regulators, filters, lines and fittings, plus surge tanks and pump modules, all engineered to support power levels ranging from 400 to 3,000 horsepower. With a focus on engineering excellence and industry-leading customer support, Deechworks continues to drive the future of high-performance fueling. Again, DDR10 is our 10% discount code over on Deechworks.com. And in this first segment of the back half of the show, we're going to bring in Mr. Nate Prater here, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy behind the plan of Street Car Bragging Rights, or Braggin Rights on Facebook. If you guys are looking for a great page to follow, bro, you kick ass. I'm excited about the conversation tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time, because I know when events are coming up, dude, it's busy. There's no time. There's no time anymore. So introduce yourself, tell everybody what you got going on.
Hey guys, I'm Nate Prater. I run, along with a few other my friends, Street Car Braggin Rights.
Yeah, and you do a great job, dude. How many people are on what you would consider like the inner team over there at Street Car?
It grows and kind of varies each year. Currently about 35, and that's 35 of our friends, family members. A lot of these guys been with us since the beginning.
That's awesome, man. Well, tell us about the beginning. Like, how long has this thing been going on?
So Street Car Braggin Rights 26 coming up next month, 27 days away currently, will be our 5th year.
Dude, that's awesome. I feel like 3 years is like a turning point, and after that it gets pretty serious, especially for events that are coming on like your size now. So why did you start this thing?
It's a lot. That's something we could probably go on for hours about. A lot of it has to do with just racing in general, going to other events, and not to knock anything at all, but there was just a lot of stuff that was happening at events that, quite frankly, we bitched about. It was years and years of, they're not doing this right, they're not doing this right, till a group of us finally sat down and said, kind of got to put up or shut up, So we decided to host a one-day event. It had 5 race classes at Carolina Dragway back in 2022. I want to say we paid out a little over $20,000 total. Man, that's awesome. And we pulled it off, and it went pretty well, and we kind of decided that we were going to make it a yearly thing going forward.
That's crazy. Dude, 20 grand to 200 grand. That's nuts.
Right. Well, how did that first year compare to what you got going into 2026?
Believe it or not, it's a lot of the same. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I think the effort that we tried to put into it in 2022 is really the same thing that we're doing now. We kind of had a lot of principles that we started with before we did the first race. We abide by those going forward still to this day. Even in 2022 with 5 classes and maybe 75 race entries, I'd have to pull up the exact on that, but it was probably somewhere around 75. We still had a major fireworks show to end the night. Try to do as much cool stuff for the racers as far as trophies, and that's all things that we still continue to do.
How cool.
The fireworks are pretty cool.
Yeah, we don't have an event without them.
For sure. What's the most anticipated part of Street Car Bragging Rights 2026?
One of the things I can't say, it's a secret until we get there, but I'm excited about the stick shift and the street car shootout classes this year with how we formatted them. So obviously we do the blind qualifying, but this year in both classes, the structure is going to have the number 1 through 8 qualifiers are going to be in a class amongst yourself. That's something that after doing a real breakdown of qualifying from last year, we saw that typically around qualifier 7 to 9 is where there'd be some separation in those classes. And whenever you have stick shift car that's running mid 650s, and then they're facing the number 16 qualifier in the class that is typically a 750, all the way up to a 790 car, there's a big discrepancy there. So this is something that we're doing this year with the street car shootout class and the stick shift class to try to close that gap.
Interesting. That's I think the top 8 will really become like that'll be bragging rights on itself. That you made the top 8.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So walk us through this blind qualifying. Tell people that don't know that have lived under a rock, I guess. But
blind qualifying is something that we started last year at the first Street Car Braggin Rights. We actually did do this at one of our races with Duck at Lights Out. It was one of those things to where when we were experimenting with this, when we were racing Lights Out, there was a large gap in the field, and we were splitting into 2 different classes. And what we seen time and time again, when you're posting qualifying sheets and you're breaking into 2, 3, or 4 classes at other events, even ours, people start paying attention and they start intentionally sandbagging. And that's not something we want at our race. We want everybody to run all out at all times. Now, in order to do that while having a class like the street car shootout class that is going to take 104 entries over 5 classes with 150 people qualifying, you have to find a way to make people run all out while giving other cars the opportunity to still be able to race and win in their class. So what we did is we turned the boards completely off during qualifying. There is no qualifying sheets that get posted. So for 104 spots in the street car shootout class and 150 plus cars are racing, you don't know where you're at. You will not know where you're at until drivers meeting on Friday. So you don't even know if that you will be in the show or not. So what that does is it doesn't prevent sandbagging. There's guys that know, hey, I don't want to be in that top 16 or I don't want to be in that top 8. And, they could still slow down a little bit. But they also have to be a good bracket racer if they're going to do that. So the remaining classes outside of our top class, which is our elite class, is all going to have a 10th breakout of the number 1 qualifier of that class.
Interesting. I do like that because that way somebody can't they're not going to sandbag too much, and they got to keep their shit in line, and they can't go out and just make a huge run there and just dominate their class.
We ran it last year for stick shift and street car shootout. And something that we do at the end of all of our races is we typically put out a survey, and it's directed majority at our racers. And it's, hey, what did we do? What can we do better? And one of the questions that we did ask the stick shift drivers and the street car shootout drivers, how did y'all like the blind qualifying? And it was overwhelming from the racers aspect. I mean, I want to say even in the stick shift field, it was like 95% was like blind qualifying is the way to go. We want it.
How cool. And I think for most of the folks that are racing in like your event and most of the drag and drive stuff, we're doing it for fun. We're not doing it for, I've got to go win this because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
There's not a lot of professional racers in this side of the racing, I would think. Yeah, blind qualifying is the way. And then, Rich Keto, they're saying it's a great way to do it. I love it. Sure makes the drivers meeting exciting.
Drivers meeting, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit though, because the way we do it, we start at number 1.
Oh wow!
And we start at the number 1 qualifier, and we work our way down the list. So you're finding out, as you go, what class you're in, and then some people are finding out that they're not even making the show the next day.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty tough. Like you're just when you go through that, do you tell them? Do you say what the time is? Like
we didn't last year. That's something that we have to figure out a way to honestly speed up the drivers meeting. So last year essentially we do billet coins for anybody who qualifies. So it's something that it's a reward for whatever class you made it into, and it's a souvenir. So last year, as we were announcing them during drivers meeting, we were having each driver come up, get their coin. This year, we're going to do it a little bit differently, but we're going to have them come up, but we're only going to do it for a couple classes. We are going to announce times, as far as where they are at, and that, last year, major thing that we did change is we had 125 cars in Street Car Shootout fighting for 64 spots. And we sent 64 cars home. And I 100% want our race to be something that you have to qualify to get in. That is 100% a thing. But sending 60 plus cars home for that class, not something I want to do. It's one thing that 30 or 40 cars don't make the cut. That was a large amount of cars. And the thing is, like you said, this is a hobby and racing is expensive. To get to the track, we all know how much money it costs just to get there. So to get there, spend the money that you do, not make the show, and send that many cars home is not something we want to do going forward. So we're trying to bridge that gap, make it a little bit smaller.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. And 104, man, that's going to be a great race, and it still gives people, and they're going to have to know like where they're at there. I can't imagine once that number starts getting down, people are like, "Oh man, am I going to make it?" Like just like Rich said ago, I was nervous, So that's pretty cool. Well, where can everybody watch that at, man?
So this year we're actually not streaming. This will be the first year that we have not streamed. So. Well, I say the first year. Our first year, we did not stream a single day event. Our second year, we were very fortunate and locked in Flow Racing. The thing with streaming for us is we're still a very new race, and we have not been able to gain the numbers as far as streamers watching the race that a lot of these guys need. So our third year, we actually streamed it straight to YouTube. We paid a crew to come in, stream the race there. Last year, we streamed with FRDM. There's some conflicts with scheduling this year. So we started looking into things on who could stream and stuff like that. And the big thing with us is we really want it to be an elevated stream. It needs to be, something that matches what we're putting out. And it was just something that we really couldn't find this year. And I was like, at the end of the day, this year we won't stream it and hopefully get more people to the track to watch it.
Yeah. 100%. Again, I'm heartbroken that I can't make it. It was going to work out perfect. I was going to be in Tulsa and then on that Sunday before, and then fly to you guys. Sadly, we couldn't make
always next year
schedule work. Dude, I know, but man, dadgummit, this is going to be a great year. I'm telling you, it's going to be nuts. You made a post the other day about media stuff, and Eric, kind of how many media teams will be on site, not just in photos, but dude, the list of people you have that run down through that, like you've got the who's who of automotive media people that are going to be there, race coverage teams. I think it's going to be incredible. And for idiots like me that are going to be sitting at home having to watch this thing, it's going to be tough, man. I'm gonna tell you,
for sure.
To wait for that video to drop at midnight, I'll be like setting an alarm or something, getting up.
Media is something I think we've celebrated since day one. This year, we in total have about 80 registered media members over roughly 45 different companies.
Dude, that's cool.
One thing for media, again, going back to our principle since day one, media doesn't pay to get in the track. That is not something, in my opinion, that they should never have to pay. We include them in all our hospitality stuff. Our VIP, they have access with all that with their badges. So they get to come into hospitality, get sodas, drinks, waters throughout the race, snacks, all that good stuff. Last year, we put together a little media room for them. That way they get out the heat, go hang out, charge their batteries, stuff like that. But from day one, a lot of our coverage was elevated because of the amount of media members we even had at our first race. And we saw that really quickly especially if we take care of those guys, how much they take care of us throughout the year. those are the people that are talking to the racers. And so, when a suggestion of, hey, what race should we go to, blah, 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 our media members, they pop up and, they're out promoting for us.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. My work with Tulsa Raceway Park has really shown that, man, a lot of times media is third in line on importance, maybe even fifth or sixth in line on importance, because
we try to put them at the top with the racers for sure.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and especially like if you can treat those guys and girls right, man, they continue to come back. Their coverage gets better and better, and all that stuff. That's really cool. Is Derek Putnam announcing this year?
Always, Derek, as long as we have a race and as long as we're both still breathing, will be the announcement of Braggin Rights. Derek was, before our first race, I reached out to somebody. To be completely honest with you, outside of our little world here in Carolina Dragway, I wasn't super familiar with really anybody that works in the industry, outside of racers and stuff like that. So I was given a list of three announcers, and the first person on that list was Al Tucci. Second person was Derek, and I honestly could not tell you who was third. The first person that I spoke with was Derek. And I never met Derek before, never spoke to him. Took about an hour-long phone call with him. And when I got off the phone, I immediately knew. I was like, this is our guy. We never even reached out to Al, which is funny. I call Al a good friend now. We've worked together a lot in the past. But Derek's been a godsend for us. He comes in, and he's way more than an announcer. A lot of people don't see that, but Derek is a very vital part of our show. He helps just running things in general. One thing that Derek, even after our first year, he'll send me pictures of notes throughout the entire race. He keeps up with how long everything takes, if we get ahead of schedule, behind schedule. And I'm not talking about, you got a little behind here. It'll be down to the second, as far as what he has for us. So.
That's one of the hardest things for people to grasp is a really good announcer, especially a guy like Derek, who knows, like, he works at Gainesville all the time. Like, he knows the in and out of what it takes to make a race go off, and host his own. Like, he knows the backside of it. He
even plays a huge part as, you could even call him a race director. There's calls that have to happen all the time, and it's stuff that'll be out of my knowledge, and I turn to Derek frequently, like, hey, what's the rule here? What should we do? What shouldn't we do? And Derek's really good about saying, hey, this is what the rule is, but hey, it's your call. What you should do might not be the same, but Derek is, he's a book of information for drag racing.
Yeah. And he's seen a lot too. I think that's probably one of the hardest things for new promoters to understand is, like, dude, there are going to be situations you've never been put in, and there's no one else to ask.
Nope.
Like, you're the dude that makes the decision. We've had a few of those in the past with the circuit. Man, it's pretty interesting. It's usually good when you're making people mad. You know what I mean? Like, if there's somebody in there that's getting upset, you're moving in the right direction, not doing it on purpose, but hey, that was probably a gray area rule there. So.
Yeah. No, we've had to make a lot of tough calls in the last couple of years, and trying to be fair is first and foremost, but it's tough.
Well, talk to us about car count. How many folks are signed up? You don't have to give an exact number, but above X,
currently we're at 476.
Good Lord, dude. What? Oh my God.
I expect that number probably to be in between 510, 515 when it's all said and done. I know we've got a handful of guys that are at Texas 2K right now, and they're
trying to see if they're going to make it.
Yeah, and we work with a lot of the racers as far as I know a lot of, again, not calling anybody out, but a lot of races, you pay to get into, and if something happens, your money's gone. we operate a little bit differently. We do what's called our racer credit program. So as long as within a 30-day window, you give us a shout, send us an email and say, hey, my car broke, I've got this going on, or just flat out can't make it for whatever reason, we issue you a credit for the full amount of whatever you paid for that you could use for next year, use it for merch, honestly, anything with us.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's a great thing. And, from the drag and drive side, that is one of the rules that everybody seems to have is like, hey, sorry, you signed up, get your car ready,
Yeah.
So
and
that'd be kind of tough.
So we asked that our racers register really soon. This last year, our tickets went on sale on November 1st. So, we're looking at over 6 months from the beginning of tickets going on sale to the race. And that's a hard ask. That's a hard ask for anything. I don't buy anything 6 months in advance. So the trade-off there is, hey, we're going to ask you to do this. We got to give something back there. So if something does happen, don't worry, we're going to take care of you. And I mean, we have family emergencies, obviously, that pop up all the time. And that's one thing that we issue full refunds immediately for, whenever stuff like that happens.
Hippie's Race Place says my transport broker, we'd be there. Dang. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. And dude, 476 cars is a shitload of cars. And so I'm assuming you're saying that you'll take people a day of, like you would take people if they showed up, or do they?
So we have a few classes that aren't sold out. So we've got our heavyweight class, DCT versus all-wheel drive. That they're 20 to 30 cars in right now. We'll take up to 50 on them, so people can show up for those classes. We prefer you register ahead of time. We do a lot of things,
It's 100 times easier at the registration booth. I promise.
With us, your tech card is already assigned. It's already filled out completely. They're typed and printed up. We have driver registration bags have their name on it. Car numbers are assigned. Car stickers are printed, ready to go. So things like that, it's one of the reasons that we ask people to get registered so far ahead of time, because we're mapping things out, printing things 4 or 5 months ahead of this race. Now we do come prepared for the ones that show up and, are ready to register there, but it does make our life a ton easier if you're already in the system.
Yeah, for sure. Damn, dude. That is absolutely crazy. Last part on this, I want to show the shirt and give a big shout out to our boy Jacob over at Elite. Dude, looks great, man. Looks great. And big shout out to Ron Mowen over at Vengeance Racing for being a big part of the program here with you guys, man. I love his story. I love what they do at Vengeance, and it's really cool to, kind of have him involved in all this, because those guys, man, they live it up over there as well. There's probably a lot of Vengeance cars that are here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They come in a big group every year. Ron over at Vengeance has been a big supporter since day one. They've been our presenting sponsor since our second event, and
that's awesome.
I don't think they're going away anytime soon. We did lock in at the end of last year's race a 3-year commitment for them being the presenting sponsor going forward.
That is great, man. Yeah, he's a great dude. How do you pick the cars that are on here? This one's
gonna hurt some feelings. So this is, believe it or not, if you were to look at any of our event shirts going back, this is the first one that has any color on it outside of red, black, gray, silver. So naturally our colors are red, black, gray for our logo. So every year we've kind of strategically have picked a red and white car. We've gotten more into trying to pick winners of previous years. And as you can see with this shirt, Jim was our Street Car Shootout winner. And Jonathan Atkins and Grubworm was our Stick Shift Outlaw champion last year. So they made the shirt. The yellow on Grubworm is actually the first year that we've ever put some color to this shirt.
Well, and the cool thing about doing the yellow there is it gives you the opportunity to then do the drag race Christmas tree in the back.
Oh yeah. More color just gets more expensive though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, preach, brother. We know all about that for sure. How cool. All right. Well, big shout out to Deechworks. That'll kind of end this segment here. We're fixing to get into some questions. I have, Eric, do you think we have 50 drag and drive racers that we're about to show as we go through here? There's probably 50. There's at least 30 that we grabbed photos of. So I'll let you do the Performa Built, and then we'll roll on and tell some stories.
All right. Performa Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Driver Pete. At Performa Built Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performa Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa Built. Right.
All right.
Sorry,
go ahead. Nope.
I was just going to say these were some of the photos that we went through earlier. But yeah, so a couple of the classes here. You got Extreme 28s. You've got Letitia Hughes and David Deal, as well as Will Fair in that one. So how do you want to do this, Mike? Do you want to go through each class or?
No, I thought we could maybe have Nate give kind of a rundown of the classes that are going to be there while we're flipping through this crazy list of, I mean, they're doubled up for at least 15 or 20 spots here. So I thought I'd give a good time for him to tell about what classes are going to be there while we're featuring some drag and drive racers over here.
Yeah. So our first class, that the name has changed over the last couple of years since the beginning, but it is something that we've raced very similarly as our Street Car Index class. It confuses some people sometimes, but it is a hybrid index bracket class. We allow you to come in and dial in your own index. And when we say index, it's because we only allow you to dial in half-second intervals. So you can dial in a 7.0, 7.5, 8.0, etc. That class has been, over the years, one of our biggest classes. And last year, we bumped it up to allowing 128 entries. So that class is sold out almost every single year. That one, it pays out the top 16, includes a 4 checkpoint cruise. So a little bit of a drag and drive there. After cars get teched in, they receive some paperwork that says, hey, these are 4 locations that you have to go to, take a picture, then send it in to us before they can even make their first pass. We've got our new to this year is our Little Gangsters class. Jimmy and Poland been kind enough to allow us to bring that on. It's obviously been extremely popular. We wanted to do something a little differently with it. We pretty much asked them permission. Hey, we don't want to step on anybody's feet, but if we bring this class in, we want it to be the highest purse that y'all have ever had. So we are doing 2 win. It is $30,000 to win, 64 car entry. During chip draw, we'll also be doing our billet coins for chip draw like we've done our no time classes the last couple of years. There'll actually be 4 gold coins. It'll be the first pair and the last pair. So coins L, left lane, right lane 1, and left lane, right lane 32. Those coins will be gold in color, and the racers who pull those 4 coins will receive $500 instantly. So
how cool.
Yeah, so during chip draw, we'll be paying out $2,000 total to 4. So we've got that going. Little Gangsters is new to us, so that'll be the first time that we've ran that. We also have one other no time class. It's our no time overdrive class. That class has been done really well for us the last couple of years. We usually sell it out. Down in the Southeast, we've got a lot of guys that run these no time overdrive classes. DCT versus all-wheel drive, we introduced that last year, and it did very well. We had a lot more last year for the first year than we anticipated having. We've had a lot of good sponsors come on. Sissio has been kind enough to get in there with us, Torque Works, and the Shop Houston with Mac. But that class, we are actually splitting it into as well, so there will be a 16 and a 16 for that. We've got our heavyweight class, very similar. Heavyweight we've kind of ran since the beginning. This year we've broken it down to 2 classes, but very similarly to stick shift, the street car shootout. It'll be 1 through 8 qualifiers will be in a class of their own. In the second class, we've got our stick shift class, and I know a lot of people are highly anticipating that one. Last year we introduced it to a little bit of a higher level last year. and we got overwhelming support last year. Last year, we sold it out at 50 cars over 2 classes. And the one thing that, we've kind of noticed with the stick shift classes is those guys really put on a show, and they show up and they break more shit than anybody.
The violence of stick shift is awesome.
And the payouts they're tiny. They're not very big for a lot of stick shift classes. So we wanted to change that. We are paying out the highest person stick shift history in total over a breakdown of 3 classes. It's a $35,000 purse over 3 classes, but to win the outlaw class, someone will be leaving with $25,000.
Come on, dude. That's what's up.
It'll be a big one there. And then we've got our Extreme 28s class that always brings out, a lot of the bigger heavy hitters. And then the Street Car Shootout class. So this year we've added to it. It is 5 classes in total. You'll have qualifiers 1 through 8, and then you'll have a group of 16, another group of 16, and then a group of 32, and then another group of 32.
Oh, wow.
So 150 total registered for that. 104 spots will go out for it. And that will also be paying out the highest person Street Car Shootout history. It's a $50,000 person total. And the winner of the Street Car Shootout elite class will be leaving with $20,000 also.
Jeez, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. Talk to me about this drive. When do they do the drive? How is that factoring?
So the way it works is as soon as you get to the track, obviously get unloaded and everything, get the car to tech. At tech for the Street Car Index class, they receive a paper that has, I'd show it to you, but I can't give everybody a heads up on where they're going.
Yeah.
But it has 4 locations in and around Rockingham. So they're not typically the drive. It lasts from the time you leave the track till you get back. By the time you stop at the locations, get your 4 pictures, it's a little over an hour drive.
Oh, cool. And but they'll do that before qualifying?
Yep. So before they go into, so Index actually doesn't have qualifying. They get 2 test passes beforehand. But E1 is, it's 128 cars. We do random pairings for that for the first 4 rounds. But before they can pull into those lanes, they had to have sent their 4 pictures in, and they receive a sticker essentially that goes on their car that verifies, hey, I made the 4 checkpoints.
How cool, man. That's awesome. So King of the Open Road had a very similar format with their setup. That way, once guys got to the track, they would be in street mode, but once they got to the track, they were back. They weren't in street mode anymore. They could get their car ready to race and do all that and be the same setup all weekend, not like a drag and drive where you're swapping.
Yeah. So last year for the class, we didn't do an around town cruise, but we did. We had them go across the street over at the Speedway at Rockingham Speedway and do a cruise there, and 130 cars going around that racetrack did not work like we thought it was going to. Yeah. We created a 40-mile-an-hour traffic jam, and I mean it was awesome, but it was really funny to see everybody kind of just getting on the gas in pairs, and then coming up to turns, everybody slamming on brakes.
These tires aren't made to turn.
It was a cluster. Thankfully, there was no incidents and everybody got out of there, but it was a sight to see for sure.
I bet, man. I bet. Yeah. We had talked about that a little bit on the show last year. It was like how you were going to do that with so many people around there. So
we started it out single file also because in our heads, well, in my head, I did the math on how long the track was, how long each car was with a gap in between and all this. And I was like, we got plenty of room to do single file around this place. We got to 2-3 wide and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, tell us who's coming back from last year's winner list to race this year.
Pretty much everybody. Going through our winners, there's definitely not really between the runner-ups and first. There's nobody, honestly, that I'm looking at and haven't seen that is already registered or at least getting ready to register.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, we were flipping through the photos there a minute ago, and I saw the coins that you put on the winners. Let me see. Where's Jeremy Ortiz's shot? Because that's the. Oh, here, I'll have it on the screen. That'll be good. There's So Jim Braun, being the winner, has the gold coin there next to Next year's name. I like that, man. That's really neat.
Yeah, we try to do a little, as much as we can, as far as recognition for winning with us. You know, one thing that we do is where our winner circle is, we have a banner for each year that shows all of the winners, the class, and all that. We are planning on, as the years go and we get a larger group of winners, kind of starting to do something one of the nights for the races where we almost have like a champions dinner where we bring just those guys in that have, you know, won over the years, and allow them to bring their crew and their family, and we do something kind of one-off for them. You know, we want winning with us to be something that's, you know, celebrated.
Yeah. That's cool, man. It's a great idea. That's a great idea. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. I want to know, how do you set the rules for these classes? Because that's probably one of the hardest things that's out there. Do you have a committee? Are you know, what's the way you do that?
Rules are not fun. There is no making everybody happy, and it really doesn't matter what you do. And I spent a lot of time the first couple years really trying to achieve that. And what ended up happening was our rules started becoming more and more intense, you know, writing full on rule books for classes. And, you know, that was one of the things that the splitting of the classes with the blind qualifying has kind of allowed us to get a step back and be a little more looser with the rules, to allow, you know, more cars to get in and really allow us not to be put in any really tough decisions. You know, a couple years ago, we had a racer call out another racer for something that was essentially a gray area type thing. And we had to send them home, and it was tough. And, you know, it was a very loose suspension rule. And we kind of you know, especially last year and this year, we kind of made the decision that, you know, we need every single rule with us can't be gray. There's nothing about it that can be gray. It's either this is it or not. There's no more of that. One of the principles of Street Car Braggin Rights is, once we set rules, we do not change the rules once a ticket sells for that class. Yeah. So that's something that we see at a lot of races. A very large race back a few months ago, 2 weeks before the race for the stick shift class, the rules changed. And that's insane. You know, you register for, when I spend my money with you as a racer and I register for a class, I read those rules and I registered for that class based off of those rules. Mm-hmm. Nothing should change ever in any way. It's a slap to any racer's face if you change the rules. Now, I understand that, you know, things happen throughout the year, you know, especially for races that have point series and multiple races, and parity adjustments need to happen as far as weight. You know, that's a little different, but, you know, having a one-off event, selling a bunch of racers tickets and then popping up, typically for somebody that has a very large YouTube following, and making a rule change so they can get in, is something that we do not do.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. And in my notes here, I just wrote, you know, like, the struggle with rules is like, you almost, as a promoter, you hate to rule a class to death, but man, people find gray areas, and then you've got to go squash that gray area, and like, then everybody complains, but everybody's always trying to find the gray area. So
no, it's funny that typically the ones that complain the most about the rules are usually the ones who are kind of in that area themselves. It's usually the fast guys that are complaining about the fast guys. It's really weird. You know, we never get like a 10-second car that's calling out a 7-second car in the class, and they're like, oh, no. It's literally always the fast guy. Sometimes guys that are faster than the ones that, you know, they're complaining about.
Yeah. It's tough. And I cannot imagine, Eric, can you imagine the circuit at 476 cars?
Dude, no way.
No way, dude. Oh my gosh. That's I mean, you're talking about thousands of passes per day. Thousands, dude. Like,
yeah.
Last year our racer count was a little over 550.
Man, that's awesome.
As great as it was, you can write a schedule on paper down to the millisecond, and in drag racing, we all know anything and everything can happen. And unfortunately for us, last year we were struck with oil down after oil down after oil down, and we realized very quickly that we needed more time. We needed to cut some back. So one thing we did last year is we had roll racing for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And it's something that we're going to do in the future. It's just going to be its own one-off event.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's something that mingling it with our event without adding multiple extra days, it's just not possible.
Yeah. Well, and with that many cars, you don't need it. You don't need the extra car count. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. And one thing that we've always done with Street Car Braggin Rights is we've always had our final qualifier on Saturday morning. And the reason we've done that is for the most part, every year, we've wanted our race to be able to race that the 9 to 5 guy who gets off work Friday at 5 can load his trailer, get on the road, be there that night, sleep, make the final qualifier in the morning, and race that day.
Yeah.
We've unfortunately gotten past that.
Dude, way too many cars for that.
So last year, with 500 plus cars and having that final qualifier on Saturday and then going into eliminations, it's just,
dude, it's too hard.
Unless you want to race till 3 or 4 in the morning, it's just not possible.
Yeah. And you still run the risk of that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Plus, so will you do your driver meeting and stuff Saturday morning this year then?
So we'll actually do it Friday after the final qualifier. So the way we're structured this year is we typically have always started qualifying on Friday. So we've done 2 qualifiers on Friday, with the third being on Saturday. We've actually increased by 2 days. So Wednesday we'll have a qualifier Wednesday night for Q1.
Oh, wow.
So we'll have Q2 and Q3 on Thursday. We have a racer appreciation party sponsored by the Track Guys Insurance on Thursday night. And then Friday, we will have our final qualifier early in the morning for all classes. Once we do that, we'll be able to get everything locked in, set our grids. We'll have a driver's meeting, and we'll go into E1 on Friday night.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That'd be awesome. So, because I think I tried to watch it last year until the end. I just didn't. I didn't make it Saturday night.
I barely made it.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the fireworks. Obviously, that's a pretty cool, unique thing, makes for cool photos. How did that idea come about and all that?
I mean, as simple as I can put it, I'm a bit of a pyrotechnic. I love fireworks. My birthday's New Year's Eve, so I was kind of born on a fireworks holiday. It's grew up kind of getting fireworks on my birthday as my birthday present. So yeah, whenever we looked into doing our first event, that was something that I really wanted to do. We've got a little extra special display set up this year. But yeah, fireworks is it's something that I enjoy. And a lot of other racers enjoy it. Since the beginning, we've actually done for our finals of every class, we do salutes down at the end. So whenever the final pair goes down for each class, we send fireworks up in the air for those.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which always looks cool in the videos and pictures when you see on those.
That's for sure. It looks awesome. Dude, what other events are you attending that kind of help give you inspiration?
So again, this one sounds a little crazy, but so I live in Augusta, Georgia. Matter of fact, here at my shop, I'm a mile and a half down the road from the Augusta National.
Oh, nice.
Playing golf, and at the end of the day, the Masters at the National, it is the most prestigious golf tournament in the world. And I've been really fortunate to grow up around it. Not only see inside the course things that are going on, but outside the course, be a part of hospitality events. I've helped cater for Rolex. A lot of big corporate sponsors come in, and you kind of see how things are done at a more elevated level. Mm-hmm. And we try to mimic a lot of that stuff, and that's not something you really get in drag racing too much. If I had more money, there'd be a lot more things going on, but we get our inspiration from a lot of higher end events, going to big stuff, Super Bowl, stuff like that. I haven't been fortunate enough to go to it, but I watch those big events. And the one thing that I'm doing whenever it's happening is I'm paying attention to knickknacks and stuff, like the way things are set up, banners, we got to do that. We got to do that. I've got a file on my phone that probably has 5,000 pictures that I send to my buddy Matt. And I'm like, hey, we need this. We need this. We need this. And it just every single year.
How cool. Well, dude, I know this is putting you on the spot because I didn't put it in the notes, but do you want to give a shout out to some of the team members, or did you not want to miss somebody? I know that's hard.
I definitely don't want to miss anybody. It's a very large group, but just in particular, my girlfriend Ashlyn, she's literally at home right now, probably filling out tech cards. She works pretty much sun up to sundown on this, just like I do for months and months ahead of time. Honestly, without her, a lot of this would not happen. She's definitely been a big part of it. She's the one that sits in the tower up there with Derek, kind of handling all the not so fun stuff while I'm out, getting all the publicity for it.
You're just out talking to people. There's not really anything you're doing.
A lot of putting out fires, but my buddy Matt, he's been my business partner with this since the beginning also. He's a local friend of mine. Very fortunately for us, he owns Race Ready Shade and Signs of Augusta. So our business partner with Street Car Braggin Rights, is a sign guy, which helps a ton. But we've got a large group, man. It's, I could go on our list and name everybody for the next hour on, what they do. But, we've very, very fortunate to have a group of people that will take off work for an entire week. These guys, they're my friends, but they're putting in vacation time to come work for free, and that's something that it goes a long ways. We're extremely fortunate to have them.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I know what a team can do for an event, dude. It shows up in yours wholeheartedly. Well, I want to move into the last bit of segment here as we kind of wind down the show. And again, big shout out to Performer Built Transmission and the work they do on GM transmissions. If you need one to go fast, I mean, they put a 4L60 in the 7s. I think that's all I got to say about that kind of stuff. Let me do this ad read for AFCO, and then we're going to jump into some tips and tricks for some of the promoters out there. AFCO Racing. Racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling brakes and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers for racers. Check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. Well, I want to talk about maybe another event that's kind of in this mix here, but at PRI, you guys announced that you and Street Car Takeover and SICTA Magazine are all teaming up for an event that's going to be called Speed Fest. That's at Bowling Green at Beach Bend Raceway, May 28th through 30th. Dude, this thing looks crazy. Each of you guys are bringing your own flair of street car stuff for like 100-ish car count coming in here. You're going to have 300 plus cars rolling into Beach Bend. So tell us how that all worked out and what you're bringing to the table there, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I actually been trying to kind of map something very similarly out. We've got Street Car Braggin Rights, but we've wanted to do something else and, have a different staple style event. And Tom actually reached out to me and was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Me, you, Sick, Street Car Takeover, we run this one event and see what we can do with it. And, we're very fortunate to be in that mix. Street Car Takeover is obviously a household name when it comes to this level of racing. And, obviously what Sick has been able to do over the last few years, growing the drag and drive events. But no, we're super pumped about it. I think it's going to be one of those things that, it may take us a couple years to really get it off the ground, but I think in a very near future, it's going to be one of those events that's going to be, you can't miss it.
Yeah. This thing, the list looks crazy. What classes are you bringing to the table? Is that kind of how it's set up? Like everybody kind of brings their own class?
Yeah. So the game plan is Sick is going to bring 3 classes of 32 each, Street Car Takeover, same. They'll have 3 classes of 32, and then we're doing 3 classes of 32. So we wanted to bring in the stick shift guys because, they've been awesome. They come out in numbers for us. We've already pretty much have filled that field for that race. And we're doing something very similar with a street car shootout class. We're essentially doing 2 fields of 32, so it'll be 64. Yeah, so we're taking 64, and they'll be split based off of qualifying.
Dude, that's badass. That's badass. That's going to be a good time. And I think what's going to be really interesting, Eric and I had this conversation last week, but the racers that like may do your event only, right? Or they may only do Street Car Takeover. They're going to see some of those drag and drive guys. And we know that when people get around drag and drive guys, they end up in drag and drives. Like that's
for sure.
That's how that happens.
I think it's one of those things that the crossover. We definitely had a handful of racers reach out and they're like, we don't know what to do. We race with all you guys, and it's like there's no hurt feelings, race in the class that you want to pick. But no, it's one of those things for sure that the guys that are going to see the drag and drive stuff, be around it, firsthand, they might be getting more involved and vice versa.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun to see that crossover as we move through the rest of the year. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about is how to help promoters do better. And your social media is killer. Like, you guys put out tons of artwork, like all the pictures we just showed and everything like that. But how do you build up this level of hype that Street Car Bragging Rights has?
It's we spend a lot of time. I'm actually, for the most part, the graphic designer for Street Car Braggin Rights. All the flyers and stuff that you see, it's I make them. We're posting them. We don't bring anybody else in for that. So we're sitting down pretty much every single day making driver flyers and getting them out. But I think it's one of those things as far as the level of promotion goes. If you give a racer their own individual driver flyer and their own individual post, instead of taking a picture of 30 cars and making one post because you didn't want to sit down and make 500 of them, it shows a little extra level of appreciation. And then what ends up happening is they share the post, and it just gets more attention. And very fortunately for us, all of our racers, they obviously look forward to coming to the race. They do a lot of promoting for us.
Well, and again, Eric, when did we talk about that racers need to do a better job of promoting themselves? You know what I mean? Like, a couple of weeks ago, but that's one of the biggest things is like for promoters to put out a piece of artwork with their stuff. It makes a very easy post for them to make, because they can either, screenshot that post or they can share it. I will always say, save that photo and make your own post around it. So,
Richard just called me out for that. One thing that anybody that anybody that races with us, or a lot of people that don't race with us, I message people pretty much every day, and I definitely piss some people off. I've been blocked by a handful of people, but it's the level of promotion that we have to get to build this thing. I if you look in my inbox, I think yesterday, after making a post about crew badges, I sat down and copy and paste it to probably 700 or 800 people. It takes sitting around for 3 or 4 hours to do it. And, I definitely understand that people getting messages from me can be pretty annoying sometimes, but it's what we have been doing over the last couple of years, and it's definitely been helping us build.
Well, I mean, dude, the momentum you guys have is insane.
Yeah. That's awesome. Another thing here, how can promoters do a better job to take care of their racers?
Just listen to them. That's probably the biggest. I think, like I said earlier in the show, one thing we do is we put out a survey every year. It costs us literally no money to do it. It takes an hour or so to set up a proper survey that asks, questions, and then get the feedback. Get feedback from the racers. Like I said, at the end of the day, you cannot make everybody happy. It's never going to happen. There's going to be multiple people that no matter what you do, but having communication with the racers, finding out overall what they want, is probably the biggest thing that I could say.
Yeah. Rich Guido says makes him feel special.
And then the last one here, how can promoters do a better job to help take care of the spectators coming to the event?
That's one I'm still trying to figure out. I can tell you, as far as Street Car Braggin Rights goes, there's things that we do really well, and I think that's as far as sponsors, racers, media, the retention of those groups year after year is extremely high, and I think that's because we've put our focus there instead of focusing on spectators. The downfall of that is we've lost a lot of money over the last few years building this race. But I think it's one of those things that we've solidified our racers. We've solidified a very large, good group of sponsors in our media. And over the years, I think the spectator count is just going to continue to grow.
Yeah. And that's – go ahead.
I was going to say, we've talked about it on other shows about how not streaming the event is going to force people to come out to events, because that's what happens a lot of times is people just sit home, even though they may be 20 minutes from the track, they just sit at home and watch it instead of coming out. And we say it all the time, like, we got to get racers, even if you're not competing, to go be spectators and bring people out to the events.
No.
Yeah, spectators is it's the one aspect of Street Car Braggin Rights that I'm not going to say we fail at, but we're still trying to figure out ways to grow that. But we don't want to trade off what we're doing for racers and media and sponsors. Right. Really kind of focus on that. I think some events really focus first on the spectators, and that's an event that we don't want to be.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Once you can take care of your racers and get those guys and girls promoting for you, they're bringing friends and family, their reach is growing, they're trying to get people in to watch. And man, you've just done an incredible job with this whole thing. It's been awesome to watch it. We've been following this for a while, and you just kick ass. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I think I've invited you every year. And,
dude, I know, like always. And this year it was on my schedule, but there's no way I'm going to miss the finals to try and be back here in time to do my own single day event
I totally understand
that Sunday morning. So 2026 or 2027, I don't care if I got to completely skip a kid's birthday. I'm coming, dude. I'm telling you,
gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I had a whole plan put in place. I was going to fly in, ride with people. It was going to be great. Because, dude, there's probably 100 drag and drive racers that are going to be there at least.
Yeah,
the ones we featured earlier in the show are just ones that I recognize off the top of my head as I flip through the thousands of photos you guys have put out.
The crossover from the drag and drive world to our event has grown definitely a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, you're right in the alley of, I hate to say that they're drag and drive racers because they're racers that also do drag and drive. Yeah. So, it's really been a great event to watch grow, and I can't wait to see this year, man. 500 cars. I can't imagine if you guys aren't doing it yet, please. I don't know why somebody would not be following Bragging Rights on Facebook. Where do you say that's where I see most of y'all's stuff because I spend a little more time there.
Yeah, we try to share a lot of stuff over to our Instagram account. We fail terribly at our our Instagram social media side of things. Definitely our Facebook, we're a lot better at it. Facebook, Instagram, and then we have our website streetcarbragginrights.com where a majority of our stuff is at.
That's awesome. Eric, anything else? We got questions? We got somebody we hadn't got something we haven't asked, I guess?
I don't think so. I think we've covered just about everything.
Well, awesome. Well, Nate, listen, dude, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, again, please, Bragging Rights on Facebook, Street Car Bragging Rights coming up. Give us the dates again. We've got April 15th through 18th.
Yep.
Rockingham
Dragway.
If you're
big shout out to Rockingham Dragway. Owners over there, Al and Dan, they've been awesome to us. We were there our first year last year, and I can't imagine that there's another track that we want to go to at any point.
Yeah. If you're within, I would say 10 hours of Rockingham, you either get in the car and drive or
more than that for sure.
Dude, it looks like a party.
We've got cars coming from Australia this year. I think.
Oh wow!
I think we have 8. It's either 8 or 9 registered from Canada alone.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
We've got we got 3 or 4 cars making the trip from California. So
that's awesome. Yeah, you've got 3 dudes that are, or 2 dudes that are driving their stuff there. But then, Trevor Brandon's going to drive his stuff back home with his wife as the co-pilot for the first time. So that'll be kind of fun.
I got about
6
hours. I got about 6 hours in the car for me.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was meaning for spectators. So look, if you're a spectator and you're within, I don't know, just get to this event as you can, man. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and with 40 different media teams, you guys are going to be inundated with fun stuff over the weekend. So it's going to be great, in the weeks following the event too. So bring it on. All right. Well, thank you for spending time with us tonight, man. I really appreciate you taking the time coming on, and I can't wait to see it, dude. I'm excited.
Thank you, man. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks, dude. See you.
See ya.
Awesome. All right. Well, man, I feel bad we didn't talk. We didn't talk about the racer stuff there. Should we back up and do the Molly part real quick?
We'll put it on. We'll put it on next
Saturday.
week. Yeah.
Okay.
Or Saturday. Yeah, either or.
Yeah. Sweet.
Man, I want to go to that event.
Dude, bad. Listen, and it's a cheap flight for me here in Arkansas to there is cheap. Like $200 round trip. I had really thought about just coming home Saturday, but there's no way I could have done that.
Oh yeah, once you're there,
yeah. Especially, and then you miss eliminations, bro. Get out of here.
Right.
So, how cool! All right, man. Well, up next we've got Saturday. Of course, we're going to be talking about all the stuff Drag and Drive. We've got the news that starts at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. And then who do we have for next week? I'm pulling it up right here. Sorry, I should have had that in the notes.
We've
325. Dude, we get the Deal Brothers next week.
Yeah, you've done a great job of getting our schedule lined out for future weeks. It's been amazing because there for a while we were asking people like days before. So great job on doing that.
Well, thanks, man. One of the coolest things happened. We've been talking to a high-level manufacturer within the drag racing community. They make other stuff, but drag racing is what we're obviously concerned with. And trying to set a date, and have been trying to set a date since PRI. And it's really cool to be able to tell somebody, oh, hey, the next time we can actually get you on is mid-May, unless you take next Wednesday. And they're like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, 2 months. So
they're like, please sign us up. Yeah, we're like, we don't want you to miss the opportunity to tell people the cool stuff you've got coming, for the event, for the year. Don't miss the season. So big thanks to your dad there, saying happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, and glad you jumped on here and decided to still do this tonight.
Yeah, 45 is the new 25, right?
Yeah, I'll be 40 next month, so I'll be 40 is the new 20. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, probably. You act like it for sure. You work like it. So, all right, man. Send us.
Well, again, appreciate all of our race car friends that came in tonight. It was great talking to Jay. It was great talking to Nate. Everybody came in here, wished you a happy birthday, which was awesome. Glad to see that. Again, can't wait to see all of our race car friends here soon as we're just getting ready to start really getting into the season. Super excited about that. And again, thanks to all of our sponsors. We can't do all the things that we do if it wasn't for this list right here. Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, JayWire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, and our newest sponsor, Low Dollar Motorsports, PowerTube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. And we'll see everybody Saturday morning.
Yep. See you.